Recently, I was listening to a podcast called Deep Listening by Oscar Trimboli, and Eric Arsenault was on this podcast. Back when I was about 20, 23 years old, I was, really in the depths of a very serious vocal fatigue problem, which was kind of making it very difficult for me to sing. And his material kind of gave me a real light at the end of the tunnel sort of situation. So yeah, he is amazing. I will leave his YouTube channel. He's got loads of amazing content. But anyway, Eric has been the vocal coach who was kind of responsible for pushing me into really obsessing over voice like I do now. And I wanted to talk about how this podcast kind of led to an epiphany, like I was saying in the beginning. I have kind of penned down a blog post very recently about my own experience with teaching children and kind of, observing this mind body connection in my own body, studying the Alexander technique. There has been a lot of study in the last couple of years which I have put in and which have repeatedly pointed me in the direction of this idea of mind-body unity, because at the end of the day, if you really want to work on yourself as a singer or any kind of skill that involves the body, I do think there is a lot more than just the body and the muscles to train. It really has to come from a very deep space within you, and everything you think about yourself, feel about yourself, has a very, very deep impact on what your body organizes itself, how it organizes itself towards the end. So what am I going to talk about? So when I was a child, let me give you a little bit of history there. So I was kind of like the star of my I was kind of the star in my community because I was a good singer at that point. I was naturally good, and I was taking a few music lessons. But anyway, I was singing a lot. I was winning a lot of competitions. I was on TV. I was low-key a star back then. Everybody knew me, and I think my singing also reflected that state of mind wherein I thought I was the best. I had a big voice for a small girl. I was able to do a lot of different things. Of course, I did have a bit of a stage fright issue, but and I do think that may have been the only kind of dampening effect on my feelings of supremacy. But anyway, for most part, I was really confident, and that really didn't change until I was about 15 or 16. But then I moved my school. The school that I'm talking about was in Bangalore, and that's where I think my life kind of changed forever, because up until that point, my identity was really revolving around being the best at whatever I did. And in this school, I noticed that I was no more the best at anything, for that matter. There was somebody who was better than me in literally every single thing that I could think about. And this kind of pushed me into sort of an identity crisis at that point, because I began to think, if I'm not the best, then what am I? Who am I? So I really kind of took to this situation very, very badly, and I really drew inwards. I kind of withdrew. I stopped putting myself out there. I didn't let people know that I sang for until a year later. I wasn't really doing anything to kind of showcase my talents or to kind of participate in the extracurricular activities at school and stuff, which was kind of who I was until that point. So I was just kind of laying really, really low. And I think in addition to just laying low in this kind of manner, I was also really physically quite trying to hide. I didn't really want people to see me, observe me, know me. I didn't have a lot of great friends at this point. So it was kind of a strange time, and I think the fear that I kind of developed at this point stayed with me. It stays with me even today. But I think especially in those formative years when I was in college, the first couple of years in college were also really, really difficult for me in terms of putting myself out there. I was really trying to hide all the time, doubting myself in every single thing. So what really happened? Why do I think that my vocal fatigue problem kind of lies somewhere in this story? The birth of this problem is because, let's talk about what happens. How does vocal fatigue happen, right? So there are many causes, but one of the many causes is that you have a body which is not free and relaxed and not prepared for this task of really projecting your voice as loud as you would like it to be, but then you go ahead and push nevertheless. This was kind of what I was doing, because I think on one hand my identity revolved around this big voice, so I didn't really want to lose it. That was my only shred of confidence that I had. First of all, I didn't sing a lot. I was singing like once a year or something on stage, in those first few years. So that was happening. I was not singing a lot. And second, added to this underuse of my voice, I still wanted to get this big huge voice out. But not only was I physically underprepared for this task, I was also nervous all the time. I was unsure of myself. I was really shriveled up, like mentally, and so my body was also that way. So these two kind of really strong opposing forces were always working against each other, and I was constantly swimming against the tide, and this is basically the formula for vocal fatigue. So I when I thought about my vocal fatigue in this manner, instead of grappling for 100 issues, oh my god, is my pillow bad, is my mattress too hard, I was thinking about all sorts of reasons for why my body felt so tight. But the more I studied my own body, and for this I have the Alexander technique to really thank, the more I understood how my thoughts can really have a profound impact on the way my body exists, how it organizes itself, how the muscles are, as a matter of fact, the better I was able to work against of my vocal fatigue issue. And I think now, as a teacher of children and in general with my own vocal lessons, I end up talking a lot every single day. And the better I'm getting at observing my own bodily cues and my own mental state and working on that, I feel that my vocal fatigue issue is slowly dissipating. In addition to my vocal exercises, I think this internal work on yourself is a really, really important thing. So this is really what I kind of feel about this subject, and which is why I encourage all of you who are working on your voice or any skill that involves your body, if you're a dancer, if you're an actor, whoever you are, don't ignore the mental cues which impact your body. If you are somebody who is underconfident, if you're constantly feeling unsafe, if you're afraid to put yourself out there, nervous, fear, whatever your conditions, maybe you're depressed, maybe you're anxious all the time, don't let that pass, because it will come to hurt your art later on. So do give this a thought. I hope you have something to take away from this video and from my blog post again, which I'll leave the link down below. So yeah, hope you find this useful, and take care.